Let's go ahead and get started. Lay down on the back, please. Hi, Elizabeth. I didn't see you sneak in downstairs. So we're going to lay down on the back, and let's go ahead and we'll start with Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of feet together, knees splay open, palms face up alongside the body. Good. And sometimes this feels too much on your back or hips. So it's a good point to check in and be honest and realistic about how this feels on your back and hips, and gentle with yourself. If it feels too intense, you can back off, and you can always modify and extend your legs out straight. We don't want to feel uncomfortable. We want to feel restful, supported, and able to allow your eyes to softly close, tuning out everything else outside the space of your yoga mat. Arrive in your practice today. Take a body scan, check in. How do you feel energetically? What are you bringing onto the mat? Start to arrive in that space of observation, receptivity for whatever you notice, both in your physical sensations and also in the fluctuations of the mind, your thought processes. What's the tone of the internal voice? Relax the brow line, relax the eyes. Underneath your eyelids, you might turn your eyes to look right and left. It's kind of moving the eyes right and left sometimes helps to soften and relax the eyes. And you can peek the eyes slightly down, like you're looking under the cheekbones. Relax the cheekbones and the jaw. Let your lower jaw hang open a little bit and circulate the lower jaw a couple of times in a slow clockwise direction. And you can take a few rotations. And then after a few rotations in one direction, pause and circulate in the other direction. Really unwinding, unleashing any of the clenching in the jaw. And then start to notice the flow of your breath in its natural rhythm, the breath flowing in and out of your nose. Anytime your mind wants to wander off or get distracted, you start to notice when that happens, and then gently, with compassion, guide the focus back to the breath. The spine is restful from the nape of the neck all the way down through the very tip of the tailbone and the outside edges of the feet. Your awareness flowing out into the baby toes. And we're gonna take the right hand and place the right hand on your chest, and the left hand you can place below the belly button so the hands are gathering onto the body. Anything you want to gather or cultivate inside, you can start to conjure that inside your mind. Strength, wisdom, openness, any qualities you want to cultivate. Feeling the connection of the hands pressing into the body, we deepen the breath. The inhale starts to flow more fully into the belly, the ribs, the chest. Exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. Just working with that a few times. Inhale, you feel the belly expand, the side and back ribs, the chest. Exhaling down through the chest, the softness of the ribs, the hollow belly. The inhale expands all the way up Imagine the light of the breath filling in the brain and the crown of the head, and even above the crown of the head a little bit. And then you exhale the breath, showering all the way down through the torso, all the way down through the hips, down through the toes. And you exhale out and hold at the end of the exhale, giving the hands a little more press into the body. And then allow the inhale to fill in and invite the inhale a little more fully. Bring in a little more inhale and hold at the top. Hold the inhale for a moment. And then exhale, you can just let it out, even out your mouth a little bit with a sigh. The throat softening. What's your intention for practice today? What's your why for practicing? The fuel, the spiritual fuel that brings meaning and light to the practice. Let the intention help guide you. And we're going to honor each other and the intentions by connecting with one Om here, with hands on the body. On the exhale, we join an Om. Om. Corners of the mouth are soft. We're going to start to squeeze the knees in and hug the knees toward your body for a squeeze. You can wrap your hands around the front of the shins. You can rock a little bit from side to side. Massage your back on the ground. The shoulders are dropping down toward the earth. We're going to start with figure 4 with the right ankle crossing on top of your left thigh. Right ankle on top of left thigh. Thread the needle. Take your hands in the left knee crease or the front of the shin for your figure 4, with the shoulder blades relaxing down, the right foot is flexed, and you feel that right femur bone plugging into the hip socket. Good. Let's find the breath into the area of the most sensation. A gentle rock side to side can help to release any gripping and soften in that inner thigh groins. Good. Keep the jaw relaxed and then hug the legs a little closer. You can curl your face toward your legs toward your face, and inhale, and then exhale, release, uncross. We'll do the other side of figure 4. Left ankle on top, thread the needle. Take your hands in the right knee crease or the front of the shin. Good, yep. And you can flex both feet, and when you flex, you feel the musculature of the legs. Very nice. The hip points are pretty equal, and then you're going to hug the legs a little closer toward you, round, bring your face toward your legs toward your face. Inhale, fill the back ribs, and then exhale, release and uncross and find your full happy baby pose. Elbows on insides of knees, hands around the ankles or the soles of the feet. Your hands can reach around a little more toward your heels as you plug the outer heels down toward the outer knees. Yep. And you're going to rock a little bit to the right, and you're going to extend your right leg a little more straight as you rock to the right. And then back to center, you're going to rock to the left and extend your leg a little more straight on the left. Just go back and forth a couple times like that. Rock to the right, let the leg go a little more straight. And back to center, to the left, and the left leg goes a little more straight. And as you come back to center, you can work on both legs opening out a little bit more toward the shape of a V. Your hands could slide onto the ankles. The toes are going to roll to point down toward the earth. And then you're going to bring the palms together in prayer, extending your arms straight out from the heart. And then you're going to point your fingers toward the front of your mat. Lift your head, lift your shoulders. Take a little bit of a crunch here. Flex the feet, exhale out, and then release back. Bring the soles of feet together. Let the knees splay open and reach the arms right up overhead into this Supta Baddha Konasana with the arms extending up, palms in prayer, and you feel a nice deep curve in the lower back as the tail falls toward the baby toes. And we're inhaling there, and we're going to exhale, bring the hands through heart center and squeeze the knees in, step the feet on the floor, lay your arms down alongside the body, palms facing the earth. You can drag your shoulders under the back. You're going to root down through the feet and pick up the pelvis any amount toward bridge pose. Lengthen the tailbone forward toward the front of the room. Breathing. Hip points are drawing in toward each other. Good. And then we're gonna raise the heels high onto very tip toes. And as you inhale, reach the arms all the way up and back overhead, finding that inhale breath, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, keeping the arms overhead, start to lower down very slowly, upper back, every little rib, lower back, tailbone, resting last. And we're gonna take the feet a little wider apart and gently windshield wiper the knees side to side, massaging the lower back into the ground. Good. Waking up a little more in the back, in the hips. And when your knees roll to the right, you can go ahead and roll all the way over onto the right-hand side, coming into the fetal position, resting your ear in the crook of the arm. Just take a moment resting into the floor. Let go of anything you want to release into the ground, stress, fear, anything that the ground can take away and absorb for this moment. And when you're ready, use your hands to slowly press on up. We'll make our way up together in a cross-legged Sukhasana. We're gonna have the feet a little bit flexed. Coming up to sit nice and tall. And we're gonna bring the palms to press and inhale the arms forward. You can look up at the thumbs and exhale, bring the hands right down through heart center. We're bringing thumbs to the center of the chest. We're connecting here in a second Om on the exhale. Oh. We're gonna crack the eyes open and we're gonna come right into an extended child's pose with toes tucked underneath. So you're gonna curl your toes under. This way you can stretch out your feet and then you're gonna walk your hands forward, drop your chin toward your chest. And there's that little lift of the lower belly. So you're fanning the back ribs and we're gonna spread the fingers nice and wide, coming into an active child's pose. Get your arms as straight as you can so your elbows lift off the ground. And you separate your palms shoulder width. So it's like downward dog arms. Yep. Yes. First fingers and thumbs are going to root down to the floor. And then we're going to inhale to lift the belly and glide forward onto a modified plank. So the shoulders come forward, almost toward the fingertips, over the fingertips, the front of the shoulders, over the fingertips. And then as you exhale, you gather the belly, press back, hips toward heels, toes are tucked. And we're going to flow in and out of that. On the inhale, you're going to wave forward, crown of head, extending last. And then exhale, press back, hips to heels, tone belly. Just move with your breath a couple times. Inhale forward. Good. Exhale, press the ground away and glide back. Inhale forward. Good. And exhale, press away. And inhale, slide forward. And this time, hug your elbows in, come all the way down onto the belly. As you come down onto the belly, take the feet flat, zip the feet together, reach your arms straight back, thumbs down. We're going to root through the pelvis and inhale everything else up into Shalabhasana, locust pose. You spread the baby toe, we lengthen the center of the chest straight forward. You're breathing fully into the belly. A nice neutral chin. Inhale, belly fills. Exhale, release, slip your palms under the elbows, tuck your toes, and you can slide back through child's pose to find downward dog or right up into downward dog in your own time. And of course, if downward dog is too much, tabletop pose is available or child's pose. Good. Pedal your feet, wake up the backs of your legs. You can shake your head out a little bit, yes. Good. Bend your left knee a little bit and send the outer right heel down toward the earth. And as you send the outer right heel toward the earth, press more through your left hand like you're trying to stretch the mat between your left base of your palm and the outer right heel. And then gently you're going to switch and bend your right knee. Send that outer left foot down. Press a little more through your right foot. Good. And just kind of switch back and forth in that way. Shifting back and forth. Good. And as you come back to center, you're going to raise the heels high, both heels high, come up to tip toes. And the sitting bones are lifting high toward the sky. And then you bend your knees and keeping your butt lifting, like you're trying to lift your sitting bones over your head. You start to tiptoe the feet forward all the way in between your thumbs. And you get toward the top of your mat. When you get there, fold forward, grab either elbow and hang in ragdoll pose. You can hook your thumbs in your elbows And just let the forearms traction. And you can sway a little bit. Spread through the toes and gradually let the back of the skull start to hang. Very nice. Bend your knees quite a bit and release your hands down to the floor. And then you're gonna walk your hands over to the right. You can turn your right toes out slightly. Walk your hands all the way like you're walking them over to the mat behind your feet. And you can let your head go and peek under your right underarm. You can breathe all along that left side body from the pinky all the way deep into the hip crease and back toward your sitting bone. And then slowly walk your hands to center, re-parallel the feet. Walk your hands to the left, pivot your left toes out. Walking hands all the way over, letting your head go, peeking under the left underarm. Breathing. Good. Feet are rooting to the earth. Walk back to center. Take your hands to the front shins, drop the tail, gather the belly, and press the palms together. You're gonna inhale the arms up overhead, looking up at the thumbs, and then exhale, bring the hands down through heart center, bend the knees quite a bit, release your hands down to the floor or blocks, step your left foot back into runner's lunge. Left foot steps back into runner's lunge. Right knee is directly over the heel. This is where I recommend to use blocks at the highest height if your hands aren't reaching the ground easily. And we hold. Good. We're gonna hold here. We're gonna spread the toes through that front foot. Take the foot a little further forward. Good. So the knee is right over the heel. Good. Hover your hands off the ground for a moment. Feel the leg muscles fire up. Just hover those fingertips. Yeah. Good. And then release them down. Now touch your left knee down to the floor. Slide the top of your left foot flat. Press down through the top of your left foot, and you can walk your hands up onto your right thigh. Or you can stretch your arms right up overhead, coming up toward crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Good. Feel the top of that left foot press, the tailbone drops. You're gonna inhale, stretch up through the fingertips. Exhale, belly in, release your hands to frame the front foot. Take your left hand on the ground and take it forward toward the front of your mat a little more. Swing the back of your right hand around onto the sacrum and swipe that hand left into the left hip point. Good. Yeah. And you're breathing. Yep, you can look back toward your right hip point. Inhale, and then exhale, release your right hand down. Tuck your back toes. Lift your left thigh. Step back to downward dog. You can always come through tabletop pose if you need to. Good. Shake your head out. Spread the fingers wide and feel the rooting of the four corners of the palms to the earth. Good. And we're going to lift the heels high. Come on to tiptoes. Deeply bend your knees. Walk, step, make your way all the way toward the top of your mat. When you get there, you're going to fold and grab the opposite elbow and hang in ragdoll. You can always gaze down and see, what are the feet doing? Are the feet pretty equal with each other? Maybe one's traveling forward a little bit. Just make them pretty equal. Good. Sway side to side. Let your torso melt over the tops of the thighs. And then you're gonna drop the tail, take your hands to the front shins, gather the belly, press the palms on the inhale, reach the arms overhead. We're looking up at the thumbs. Exhale, bring the hands down through heart center, and then bend your knees quite a bit. Release your hands down to the floor or blocks. Step the opposite foot back, right foot back. The left knee is gonna be right over the heel. You can always have blocks under your hands. You're gonna spread through those left toes. Feel this lift from the top of your left foot right up to the center of the knee. And that left femur is lifting up into the hip. And you can hover your hands off the ground for a second. Feel the muscles fire up. And then release your hands back down. Touch your right knee down. Take the top of your right foot flat. Push through the top of your right foot. And you can either take your hands to the left thigh or you're going to reach your arms right up. And we'll find Anjaneyasana. Good. You feel the top of that right foot pressing. We're going to inhale, reach up through the pinky fingers, lift the side ribs. And then exhale, gather the belly, release your hands to frame your front foot. You're gonna take your right hand forward as much as you feel you can, then swing your left hand around onto the back and swipe it right. So you feel that right hip point drop, and we let the right rib wrap around to the belly and look to the left. You're breathing, you can peek toward your left hip. You relax the face. We're gonna inhale, fill that left side, and then you're gonna exhale, release your left hand down, tuck the back toes, lift the right thigh, step back to downward dog. Remember, you can always come through tabletop first or child's pose. We're gonna have a gentle, tender attitude toward yourself at all times. Downward dog, 2 or 3 breaths. Good. And slowly, you're gonna lift the heels, you're gonna glide forward into a plank pose. You can either modify to knees or lower down, chaturanga, coming onto the belly. Lay your feet flat, reach your arms straight back. You can either take shalabhasana here, locust pose, or you interlace your fingers, track the knuckles toward the back wall. Good. Nice. Neutral chin. Inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, release forehead to floor. Take your palms under the elbows. We're gonna press back toward an active child's pose with toes tucked, hips toward heels. Good, and to come up to tented fingers, we're gonna lift the belly and walk the hands over to the right. Squeezing out through that right side a little, peeking under the right underarm. Breathing along that left side. Feeling the left sitting bone and hip wrap around toward the right sitting bone. Good. Very nice, all these side bends looking beautiful. And then we walk back to center. We're gonna walk the hands all the way to the left. Squeezing out through that left side digestion. Let the right rib wrap around toward the belly. Finding the breath, filling through the side ribs. And the exhale tones the belly toward the spine. Good, and we're gonna gently walk the hands back to center. Tented fingers, you're gonna lift your belly and you're gonna slide, hoist that right foot in between the hands, right knee is over the heel. Now, if your left knee is tender, you can always put a little cushion, like a blanket underneath it. We're gonna glide forward and back a couple times. On the inhale, we arch the spine. Then on the exhale, you're gonna send the hips back, curl your right toes toward your face, and melt your face toward your right shin. And you kind of move in and out, whatever range of motion feels available. Inhale, you come forward. Exhale, lift the belly and slide back. Just work with that a couple times. Inhale, you slide forward. Feel that right foot connect. And then exhale, you glide back. You feel that right femur hug up into the hip. And then inhale, you're gonna slide forward. And then exhale, you're gonna come back and take a pause here in this Ardha Hanumanasana. It's a half split pose, pressing the edge of that right heel into the ground. Gather the right femur into the hip, and you can peek toward your right hip. And you let that left rib move around into the belly. So this is a very, very subtle little twist going on. And then we're gonna slide forward, right knee over the heel, lift the back thigh, spin the left heel down. When your feet feel anchored, you're gonna slowly reverse windmill the arms up and come into warrior 2. You're gazing over the right fingers. So we're gonna find Virabhadrasana 2. We're gonna keep wrapping the right knee open over the toes. And you're lifting through that left side body. And you're pushing through the outside edge of the left foot. Let's turn the right palm up, reverse the warrior, left hand to left thigh. Or maybe it feels good to slide that left hand around onto the lower back and swipe it right for a little bit of a bind. Good. So we're breathing, we're spreading the right toes. Yes, we're gonna inhale. When you exhale, lightly lay the right forearm on top of the thigh bone, palm facing up. Left hand can be on hip. You're gonna swing that left arm right up alongside the ear. Extended side angle. The ribs are knitting in toward the spine to create stability. And we can allow this left hip to move forward and down just a little amount. Good. Now rooting through the feet, we're going to come up back to warrior two and into reverse warrior for a moment. Left hand to left thigh, right arm's going to reach up and over. We're going to inhale. We're going to exhale to slowly cartwheel. Release your hands to frame the front foot. Swing the back heel over the toes. Now you can step back to plank or tabletop pose. Either modify to knees or lower down through chaturanga, hugging your elbows in, coming onto the belly. And we'll take a little cobra pose. Inhale. Drag the palms to the ground. And then we're going to exhale, press back either through child's pose to get to downward dog or right up through plank pose. Listen to your body if you need a break. The breath is a guide. You don't want to force. Come back to the breath. Steadiness and ease in the effort. And the intention available. Shake your head a little bit, let your head go. Good. Now let's come forward into plank. Take a little pause. We're going to get nice and strong, lifting that right inner thigh. Hover the right foot off the ground. Lift the belly. And then lower it down. Good. Lift the left heel off the ground. Hover. And then lower down. Lift both feet off the ground. Just kidding. I love this joke. It always gets a laugh. Bring the knees down and come all the way onto the belly. We're going to come onto the belly. We're going to reach the arms back. Never gets old. We're gonna root through the pelvis and then lift up to locust. If you can hook your thumbs behind you and take that butterfly mudra, spread the pinkies. You feel this broadness across the collarbones as you inhale to fill the belly. Exhale, we're gonna release palms under elbows, tuck your toes and glide back to active child. We're gonna prepare to do the left side sequence, same sequence we just did. Tented fingers, you're gonna slide your left foot in between the hands. Left knee is about over the heel. As we come in and out of this, it's all right if the knee goes a little beyond. That can help you get a little more opening of the psoas. But just be cautious about not too much pressure in the knee. So we inhale, arch, and then we exhale, slide back, curl the left toes toward, and you have that little micro bend in the left knee so it doesn't lock out. And then just go on your own pace. You can always have blocks under your hands. Inhale, exhale, sliding back. Inhale forward, just move with your own breath. And the exhale, sliding back. One more time forward. And the next time you find yourself back, take a pause in your Ardha Hanumanasana. You feel this plugging of the left femur in. And if it's too much to do the forward fold, you can always keep your hands under the shoulders and stay a little more upright. The right hip is about over the knee or just slightly behind. You may be able to fold forehead toward the shin. Breathing here, Ardha Hanumanasana. It's a half split. Feeling that in the hamstring, the left hamstring. Good. And then we're going to glide forward, plant your left foot, lift your right thigh, spin your right heel down. And you feel both feet press. And slowly as you drop the tail, you're going to make your way up into strong warrior two. And the drishti, the focal point, is out beyond the left fingertips. Good. So you're spreading the fingertips away from the torso and anchoring through the outside edge of that right foot very strongly. Good. We're going to press a little more straight through this right leg. Good. Yes. Now turn the left palm up, reverse warrior. Right hand to right thigh. Left arm is going to reach up and over. I want this thigh to kind of move in this direction a little. There. Good. So we're going to inhale here. Then we're going to exhale. Lay the left forearm on top of the thigh bone, palm facing up. The right arm can come up alongside the ear, or your right hand can stay on your hip. Good. Breathing there. Spread through the left toes. We're going to keep anchoring through the outside edge of the right foot. And then you're gonna inhale, coming up to reverse warrior, right hand to right thigh, left arm's gonna reach up and over. And as you exhale, slowly cartwheel, release your hands to frame your front foot, swing your back heel over the toes, step back to plank pose or tabletop pose. We're gonna meet together down on the belly. So come all the way down onto your belly. Pause. We're gonna reach the arms back for a Shalabhasana. Reach the arms straight back behind you, or you can bend your knees and reach for the outside edges of your feet for Dhanurasana, for bow pose, if that's available. If that's not easily available, doesn't feel free on your lower back, then just take that Shalabhasana, strengthening up. If you can have the feet, great. Kick the feet into the hands, spread the heart, and your breath may even let you rock side to side. And we're gonna play a little bit. We're gonna roll to the right. If you can't, you can just do it without your hands on the feet. Back to center, roll over to the left. Back to center, roll to the right. Back to center, roll to the left. Good. And back to center. Root down to rise up through the heart. Inhale, you fill the belly, and exhale, gently release. Zip the feet together, tuck the toes, take your palms under the elbows, and you're gonna press back hips to heels. And you can stay there, or you can lift your knees and come back up to downward dog. So we're gonna bring the feet a little closer together. And you're gonna swing that right heel high for three-legged dog. Inhale, left thigh bone draws back and up. Inhale, exhale, knee to nose, lift the belly, step your right foot in between the hands. You may need to manually hoist it. Get the right knee over the heel. Lift that left thigh bone up into the body, and then spin your left heel down. You can start to press your right leg straight and fold over your right leg, let your head go. Blocks can always help here. If your hands aren't easily touching the floor, think of the blocks like hand extensions. They just give you a little more support. Good. Parsvakonasana. Now you're gonna transfer or transition from this position to lift up through the crown of the head, and then take your right hand on the floor or a block at the highest height. And you can start to wrap the right belly toward the left belly for triangle. Left hand can be on your back, or you're gonna extend your left arm up. And find your breath wherever you're at. Good. Nice. If your neck fatigues, you can always gaze down at the foot. Yeah. Very strong connection of the outer left foot into the ground. Good. Now from here, you're gonna bend the right knee, and you're gonna press up through warrior two with hands on hips. Take your hands on your hips, let your shoulders relax. Straighten your right leg all the way. Turn your right toes in, your right heel out. Find your wide-legged stance. Good. Now you're gonna take a hug, wrap your right arm on top of the left. Take a hug. Who doesn't need a hug from yourself? Giving that upper body a hug. We inhale into the ribs. We're gonna look up, and then you're gonna soften your knees deep in the hip creases and start to fold. And it's nice to keep the hug as you fold, but of course, if that doesn't feel right to you, you can release your hands to the ground. Good. Or you can stay upright if it feels too much to fold today. Very good. Find the breath. Sway a little bit. Imagine the center crown of the head descending toward the earth. Yep, and you can shift a little into the left foot and bend that left knee. You can shift a little into the right foot and bend that right knee. If you haven't already, you can release the hug and take your hands down to the ground. Take your hands to the ground, and when you bend through your right knee and shift over to the right, take your left hand about under your face. Swing your right hand around onto your lower back for a twist, and you look to the right. Yeah, left hand on the ground or a block, right hand swings around. Very good. You were right. You were right. Having a little tiny give in that, in the outer edge of that left foot presses. And we're going to inhale. We're going to exhale, release the right hand down, and then walk to the left a little bit. Bend the left knee. Take your right hand under your face. Swing your left hand around. Look to the left for this twist. Good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Breathing. Find an inhale. Exhale, release the left hand down. Walk your hands towards your right foot. Pivot your right toes to point straight forward. Swing the back heel over the toes, and we're going to touch the left knee down to the floor so that we're in this tabletop lunge. And then you're going to slide your right leg back into tabletop. Wag the tail. Bring the big toes to touch, and then you're going to start to round. Look toward the tail. Walk your hands toward your knees, and then stand up on your knees. Roll the shoulders up. Whoops, I'm totally out of the frame. Roll the shoulders up. Roll the shoulders down. Take your hands onto your lower back. And we're going to slide the hands into imaginary back pockets. We're going to lift the center of the chest. Take a gentle Ustrasana. Mm-hmm. Imagine a tether from the bottom of the chin to the sternum. Nice, strong. The neck muscles are strong, but they're not tense. We inhale to deep into the belly. And then we exhale, slowly release. And let's swing the arms forward. Give the palms a press. Give the palms a nice press, and then turn the palms up, curl into fists. Bring the fist toward the top of your bicep. Point your elbows up. Make a big circle with the elbow. And then gather the belly. Release your hands down to tabletop. And you're going to round the spine, look toward the tail. Take a big inhale into the back ribs. And as you exhale, come back to child's pose, a restful child's pose for a breath or two, just to soften. And I'm going to recommend turning your palms up toward the sky to wring out the wrists, and you can open and close your palms a couple of times. Sending a little love to the wrists. If you turn the palms up, just do a little open, close, open, close. Even that simple open closing, it chains all the way up your arms, all the way to your tailbone. Good. And when you're ready, we're going to look forward. We're going to ground the palms. We're going to snake the body down, come all the way down onto your belly. Reach the arms back. Again, a locust pose or a Dhanurasana. Inner thighs roll to the earth, just stationary Dhanurasana. Center of the chest lengthening forward. You can breathe a little bit to generate a little bit of rocking. This time just kind of forward and back. And we take a full inhale and we exhale, gently release. We're going to curl the toes underneath, take the palms under the elbows. And we're going to meet back in downward dog to repeat the sequence on the other side. If you want to take a detour through child's, feel free. Again, hang the head. It's your practice. So we're going to take the feet a little closer together, and we'll lift the left heel up for three-legged dog, and you feel that left femur plug into the hip. If you want to open the hip a little and stack the hip over the right, that's fine. If your back feels all right. Very good. Keep containing the belly though. Inhale, and then exhale, knee to nose, lift the hips, step that left foot right between the hands. You're going to slide that left foot forward however it gets there. The left knee is over the heel. You can always use your blocks. We're going to start to straighten that front leg, spin the right heel down. We're going to fold into Parsvakonasana, pyramid pose. If your back heel doesn't feel anchored on the ground, I invite you to try shortening your stance a little bit and taking that right foot a little more toward the outer edge of your right side of your mat. Sometimes that can help you feel a little more rooted. Press that left leg a little more straight without force. Good. We're going to make our way toward Trikonasana, lifting the belly, the ribs, the chest. Left hand can be on the block. Wrap the left belly toward the right belly, and your hand can be on your rib, or you can extend your right arm up. Good. Pushing through the ball of that left foot. Good. And finding the breath. If your neck fatigues, you can always gaze down. You're feeling really connected to the floor, to the earth, through the roots of the feet. And you're gonna bend through that left knee and you're gonna start to press up and bring your hands to your hips. You're gonna straighten your front leg, turn your left toes in, your left heel out, find this wide-legged stance. Wrap your opposite arm on top if you can remember which one. The one that doesn't feel habitual, the one that feels a little awkward on top. And then we're gonna lift the ribs. You take a little back bend, you inhale, and then exhale, you hang like a bat hanging in a cave. Yeah. And you can even little noise out your throat if you'd like. Sway. Good. Spread the toes. Good. Heels are turned out. Toes are turned slightly in. Good. Mm-hmm. And the crown of head descends. You can release your hands down to the earth. And you can walk your hands a little more in between the heels if that feels available. You're starting to bring a little more of the crown of the head toward the ground. You don't have to force. You can imagine this vortex of energy from the center crown of the head moving down to the earth. Or if you're still standing upright, you could imagine the vortex going up to the sky. Good. So we're gonna bend that right knee, walk your hands to the right. Just look to the right and then press the right leg straight. Walk your hands back to center, bend the left knee, turn your left toes to point straight forward, swing your right heel over the toes, touch your right knee down, slide back into child's pose, knees wide, big toes touch. Stack your palms, rest the forehead, take a couple breaths. Crocodile child's pose, supporting your brow line with the hands. Roll your forehead around a little bit. Really relax on the back of the neck. Good. Always returning to the present moment through your breath and your heartbeat and your intention. Good. We're going to start to extend the arms out straight. We're going to look between the thumbs and we're going to slide the right knee forward a little wider than the right wrist. You're going to flex your right foot and lay your left leg long on the ground. If it doesn't feel available to lay that left leg long like that, you can do this kind of side Thai massage seat where you sit on the outer right thigh and then just kind of sit with that right knee pointing forward and the back leg bent. And you could fold forward over the thigh like that. If you have the left leg straight, you take a little back bend. You can look up toward the sky and then you start to lower down, come onto your forearms. And I like to recommend a block under the forehead. So you rest your third eye in between the eyebrows on a block at the highest height or lower. So you want to maintain this line from back of skull to tail, not too much rounding in the upper back or neck. Yep. And you stay. And it's supposed that we linger and hold for 3 to 5 breaths. Yeah. Where can the breath bring some light? Pigeon pose. Scan your body. We don't want to stay too long. We don't want to create like pins and needles or a feeling of the cutoff of the energy. We're going to press through the top of the back foot, drop the tail, start to slowly come on up. Yep, and you can inch that back knee forward a little bit, and we're gonna unwind. You can either just stay in tabletop to wag the tail, or you can come right up into a downward dog in between, pedal the feet. Good. Full inhale fills the belly. Exhale, you can let it out optionally, sigh. Great. And we'll meet together forward, back in plank, and we'll bring the knees down. We'll come back to active child with toes curled under, and then we're gonna slide forward to do the opposite. Left knee is gonna come a little wider than your left wrist, and then you extend your right leg back. And this left heel can be pretty close to that right inner hip seam. And if that doesn't feel good, you can shift over and the left knee points forward a little. You bring the right thigh to the foot and you can come take that variation. But if you're able to keep that right leg straight, the right hip point rolls around toward the belly and eventually make your way down the same as the other side. And rest that brow line on something so that you're able to really relax in the back of the neck, ligaments of the neck. And the trajectory of the two hip points is moving down toward the ground. Just scan, observe. Good. So we don't want to stay here too much longer. We're going to press down through the top of that back foot. Slowly, we're going to start to come on up. This time, we're going to shift over into that right thigh, and we're going to swing the left leg around. We're going to bring that left ankle in front. So we're sitting in this cross-legged. Feet are flexed. We're sitting nice and upright. We did this the other day. We're going to play a little bit with some levitation. Okay? We're going to take the hands on the ground and just give them a nice press into the ground. And your shoulders are going to shrug up a little. And then you lift your sitting bones, your butt off the ground. Good. Yep. And then you can lower. Just do it a couple times. Lift up. Yep. Use your core. Lower. Good. Lift up. Lift your knees. Lower. And then lift up. Good. And then lower. Good job. Reach the arms out. Turn the palms up. Rotate a couple times. Palms up. Backs of hands down. Good. And then bring the palms to press, lean back, squeeze the knees in, uncross, flex your feet and balance for a moment in your Ardha Navasana. Let the shoulders drop into the body, lift the center of the chest. Good. We're going to inhale, lift the heels, and then exhale, open the knees, take your hands to the front of the ankles, and you can drop the outer edges of the feet into the ground. Inhale to arch the upper back, and then exhale, you can use your elbows to slide onto the inner knees a little bit and fold and bring your chin towards your body, any degree. Whatever amount you're able to go. Doesn't have to force. And you are observant and conscious of the inner dialogue. Good. Be curious about your feet or the toes, the balls of the feet, the heels. Sometimes they get a little asymmetrical, so we try to make them equal. And then slowly we're going to come to sit. Bring the knees in, step your feet on the floor, and just wrap your arms around, give a hug, drop your eyes toward your knees, just curl into this little ball. And you find the inhale to fill the back ribs. You're in this little C, and then as you exhale, you're gonna open your way out. You can make your way down onto your back. You don't have to be too graceful about it. Just find your way down to rest on your back. You're coming onto our back to find this moment of softness through the whole joints. Take a body scan. Good. We're going to have that left leg nice and heavy on the ground, and we're going to gather the right knee in toward the body, taking a gentle Kalamukhatasana. Good. And we're going to let that right knee glide open to the right. Hands are still on the front of the shin. And then we're going to bring the right knee back to center. And you can bring the right knee across the body, and you can bring it across just a couple degrees, or you can scooch that left hip a little more under the right and take that right inner knee over to the left. Any amount. You don't have to force it down in any way. Your right hand could stay on your rib, especially if your right shoulder feels tender, or the right arm could come out to a cactus. If you feel a little more open, you could reach down with your left hand and take the right ball of the foot and extend the right leg toward straight. But we're not trying to force or pressure the body anywhere it doesn't want to go. And your gaze can be neutral, or you can look gently to the right if that feels right on your neck. So be wherever you're at in that breath, the space of the breath. Good. And then slowly we're going to bring the knee back to center. Recenter the pelvis, gather the knee in, open the elbows, and tone your face toward your knee toward your face. You can hover your left heel off the ground for a second. Exhale out, and then release everything down. Step your right foot onto the floor and give it a press. Hug your left knee in. Hands are in the knee crease or the front of the shin. Gather that left leg towards you and extend your right leg out if that feels right on your back. Kalamukhatasana. You can let your right heel rest toward the earth here if that's possible. Yep. Right thigh bone dropping down. Let the left knee glide over to the left a couple degrees, and then you bring the knee back up to the body and across the midline, and it can just go a couple degrees. That's fine. You can stay there, especially if you have like lower back issue. You don't want to tweak anything. Just stay there with the knee across the midline a few degrees. If it feels available, you start to bring the knee over a little more, and you actually scoot your right hip under the left a little, and you can keep your left hand on that upper rib with that left elbow tip just resting on the ground. Or you could go further and let the left arm open out more toward a T or a cactus. And you could catch your left big toe in the right hand and start to extend a little more straight through the left leg. Find the breath. Find the ease. Good. And then we're going to gently start to bring that knee back into center, recenter the pelvis, hug that left knee in, and you're going to wrap the ribs, lift the face toward the knee toward the face, and then you can hover that right heel off the ground and give that extension through the right sole of the foot for a moment. Exhale all the way out, emptying out, and then release the head back. Bring both feet onto the floor. Step your feet mat width distance apart and let your knees knock in to touch, constructive rest pose. Hands can rest on the body, anywhere that feels good. The magic constructive rest pose is like a power nap, except you're not asleep. Nervous system is calm. The brain is soft. Soften the forehead, the brows, and tune into the expansive breath that fills in the belly and the full exhale that empties out. Broad quality to that lower back plane. You're gonna start to slowly windshield wiper the knees. Windshield wipering the knees from side to side. Pausing anywhere that feels good. Hug the knees towards you, give a squeeze, and take one last full happy baby pose. Evening out the hips, elbows on insides of knees, hands are on the feet or the ankles. Soles of feet face the sky. Very nice. Good. And then we're gonna go ahead and release, and you can release your feet to the floor, feel them plug into the earth for a moment, and then find your way toward your restorative Shavasana position. Clothing, socks, blankets are welcome. Very essential final posture to stay and do nothing for just a little while in the stillness of the present moment. If it's too much to have your legs extended out straight, you can always take constructive rest pose instead for your Shavasana position. You want to feel really, really supported and comfortable. And you don't have to control the breath at all. You don't have to control anything. All you have to do is let go, tension in the joints, a lot of latent space can flow. Through the whole body. Allow the back body to melt into the absorbing quality of the earth. Sharing a poem today called Gems. Pressure will condense my heart into a precious gem, a Herkimer diamond, not quite as hard as everlasting as the real thing, but close enough. Remember, everything condenses with pressure. Tides ebb and flow, the moon sets, lungs expand and contract. We hold ourselves upright for a time, then collapse. After, when the body lays still and everything is lighter, the gem sparkles. The next step is doing nothing for a while. The only step on the path is forward into deep sand, gravel, or forest floor. We have to keep going, mining precious gems and giving them away. Gather your hands back onto the body, feeling the hands connect to the body and offering to self from within whatever you need. You can offer it to yourself. And we find a contentment practice, a gratitude practice for whatever is, for all that is, the reality of all that is right now, complete and whole. And whatever you're choosing to focus on expands, becomes more real. And your awareness flows out like a light of protection, all the way out through the fingers and toes, where you start to wiggle gently, waking up sensation. Eventually, the arms are going to reach overhead, and imagining you're hitting the restart button, the reset button. Take your time as you feel ready to gather your knees toward you, and we're going to roll to the left-hand side, resting on the left-hand side, settling, releasing, and remembering your intention, your inspiration for practicing today. And when you feel ready in your own time, you're going to slowly press up and we'll meet together, all sitting upright together. We're going to find the connection of the sitting bones to the earth and the open, lifting quality of the sternum toward the sky. Let's bring the hands together at heart center. We're going to honor each other, this practice, and all of our intentions by connecting together through the universal chant of a single Om on the exhale. Om. Wishing you all the joy, the health, the peace, the freedom from suffering. Namaste. Thank you very much for being here. I think it's the biggest in-person class I've had since 2020. This is beautiful to see, and I'm so happy about it. And a nice virtual group too. Thanks everyone for coming today. Michael, Jacinta, Jamie, Laurel, Mary, Melissa, Megan. I wrote that poem.
You
Elaine.
did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's so good.
Yeah, I'm channeling him. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Thank you,
Trying to
Sarah. Bye, everybody.
expand my creativeness.
That was a beautiful.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, Sarah.
Have a great day. Bye, guys. Bye, Elaine. Bye. See you next time. Bye, Marissa.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.